Would you rather have Bijan Robinson or Ashton Jeanty? Bijan was probably the most hyped up RB prospect we had seen since Saquon Barkley in 2018. He didn't have quite the rookie year that Saquon did, but still I would say has fulfilled promises thus far for the most part. RB9 a season ago, 976 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, nearly 500 receiving yards that season as well, 4 receiving touchdowns. With Kirk Cousins and Zach Robinson calling the shots this season, he's on pace to smash those numbers. 1,200 yards, 550 rushing yard pace. Also has already scored 7 touchdowns this season. Last year, he had a total of 8 touchdowns. Ashton Jeanty, on the other hand, he has now surpassed the folklore of Bijan and what he's doing this season to help lead the Boise State Broncos to a potential first-round bye in the college football playoffs. Through 10 games, he currently has nearly 1,900 rushing yards, 27 total touchdowns. It has the second shortest Heisman odds behind Travis Hunter. In my first 2025 mock draft I've been working on, I have Jeanty going 9th to the Cowboys. Eric, who would you rather have from a dynasty perspective? Jeanty, which will probably cost you the 101 in this year's draft, or would you rather go with Bijan, who's been steady thus far in his career?
Yeah, so this is kind of a tricky question. It makes me want to give a Seth-like answer where I try to blend a few things together. In a vacuum, I would rather have Bijan Robinson. And this is because I believe in an exploit in the overall sentiment of the dynasty marketplace, which is the future shiny thing is always coveted, but doesn't always work out, right? And so like the value that is placed on known quantities is nerfed all the time, right? Like I would much rather have a guy that I've seen perform at the NFL level and, can very much so be a running back one for 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, right? So for me, I would rather have and continue to roster Bijan Robinson. But I think the answer to the question is I would rather have Jeanty because I think I can get more than the 101 in return from him, right? Like if I'm trying to go shop that around, I could probably get Bijan Robinson plus because everyone loves the new shiny thing, right? Like fuck this boat. The mystery box is right there. It could be anything. It could even be a boat, right? So like, I would much rather have Jeanty because I think I could get more, have a bigger impact on my roster in the trade market. But if it's roster and hold, it's Bijan by a pretty good margin for me.
How do you feel about this, Steve? Do you want the new shiny thing in Jeanty, or do you want what's working in Bijan Robinson?
I actually want Bijan Robinson instead of Ashton Jeanty. And it's not a knock on, like, listen, I love the whole Michael Myers thing he's got going on in the backfield. He's just standing there, just staring at defenders, just like, and you just know he's like, I'm going to fuck you up. Like when I get this ball, I'm going to fuck you up. Like, and that's amazing to me. Like, I love that. But he doesn't catch the ball like at all. And that's a huge problem, right? I don't know what his numbers are. I don't know how fast he is. I don't know how
he's got about 100 receiving yards, 17 receptions on the season, and a receiving touchdown.
It's just not enough, right? Bijan is built in to be a pass catcher, right? Like when he's not getting a ton of rushing work, like he's getting the rushing work, right? Like 15 to 20 carries a game. He's getting like a bunch of catches. He's probably going to lead running backs in receptions this season, or at least come close. It's just built in, right? And I think sometimes we get a little too where we kind of like have that I don't want to play with you anymore attitude to our, like Bijan's, this is his second year. I mean, it's not like he's elderly. I mean, give me what I know. Bijan Robinson has been great. I don't think he's been what people thought he would be. I didn't think he'd be what people thought he would be, but he's been good. And Ashton Jeanty, I don't know if he has the explosiveness. I need to see like his numbers at the combine and things like that. Talk to me after the combine. I might change my answer, but until I know like those 40 splits and things like that, I don't know. I haven't seen him play big enough competition to put him over Bijan Robinson.
Well, he almost ran down Oregon to beat them, number 1 team in the country. And
right, but Oregon's not exactly a defensive juggernaut. You know what I mean? Like,
they
still have that Pac-12 mentality.
That's absolutely fair. I'm going to take the young gun here, boys. I honestly
they're both young guns.
Well, I'm going to take Ashton Jeanty. Give me the younger guy. yes, we don't know what he can do from a pass catching standpoint, but hey, we also said a couple of years ago, we don't know what Kenneth Walker can do from a pass catching standpoint, and he can catch the ball just fine. I don't think Boise is asking him to do that quite a bit because it's just easier for them to get the ball in his hands from a handoff, from a pitch, from a direct snap, something like that. So give me Ashton Jeanty. I think he comes right in the NFL.
I think that's a good comp, though, right? Like, I think Ashton Jeanty's comp is essentially Kenneth Walker. So do you want Kenneth Walker over
I think his comp
Robinson?
I think his comp is Adrian Peterson. I think that's what we're looking at, boys. You don't go out and put up these numbers.
He's 5'9". No, it isn't.
You don't go out and put up these numbers with that. Like, this is next level shit.
Oh, he's big boy levels good, but he is not Adrian Peterson. Stop that.
I'm just saying that's the ceiling. That's the ceiling here.
You're making my point.
You could say that about anyone.
He to me, I think he could be somewhere between a Derrick Henry and Adrian Peterson. Like, that's the type of runner
between there. Those are the bookends of his range between Adrian Peterson and Derrick Henry. Just like,
I mean,
he's two of the four best running backs we've seen in the last 20 years.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Maybe I'm drinking too much of the juice right now.
He's shorter than you are.
Maybe
what do you mean he's Derrick Henry?
That's freaky tall.
I don't care about height for a running back, man. I'm
you
all right.
Should. He has to be somewhat stature. Like, he has to have stature in some type. If you're going to compare him to the 6'2" Adrian Peterson and the 6'2" Derrick Henry.
Well, I just think he runs like that. Maybe Maurice Jones-Drew is a better.
He's 5'9" on ESPN, which means he's really 5'7".
5'7".
That's my height.
What I will say is this is perfectly embodying my point, right? Like, if I have the 101 in Dynasty, even in Superflex, I'm taking Ashton Jeanty, and I'm doing so happily, right? Like, I think he profiles to be a very explosive and valuable prospect down the road.
Yes,
but the fact that Seth, someone who makes his living in this industry, analyzing these players, has just comped him to somewhere on the low end of Derrick Henry and the high end of Adrian Peterson.
Maurice Jones-Drew's the low end. Maurice Jones-Drew's the low end.
Either way, that's the point, right? Like, this is the type of excitement that these potential breakout rookie candidates get. And that is why I want to roster that person and trade that person, because I think I could get Bijan Robinson plus in return for him in the trade market.
Sure. It's a great question. I'm excited to see what happens with Ashton Jeanty next season. This is one maybe we'll revisit in due time. Maybe next year even we can revisit this question. But let us know down below in the comments. Who would you rather have in Dynasty, Ashton Jeanty or Bijan Robinson? We want to hear from you.